You are not tired, you are overstimulated, and there is a difference. You think you are burned out because you cannot focus. You think you lack discipline because you cannot sit still. But what if the problem is not effort? What if the problem is addiction? Not addiction to a substance, but addiction to interruption, to noise, to novelty, to constant stimulation. Every time something feels slightly uncomfortable, your brain reaches for relief. A scroll, a notification, a video, a new tab, a quick check, just for a second, and that second becomes a pattern, and that pattern becomes a dependency. Distraction feels harmless because it is. Everywhere it feels normal, because everyone participates, but normal does not mean neutral. Every small interruption resets your focus and trains your brain to avoid depth. Depth is where progress happens. Depth is where skill is built. Depth is where potential turns into reality. But depth is quiet, and quiet feels empty when you are used to noise. So you escape it. You call it multitasking, you call it staying informed, you call it taking a break. But most of the time, it is avoidance. Avoidance of difficulty, avoidance of uncertainty, avoidance of sitting with your own thoughts. The more you interrupt yourself, the harder sustained effort becomes, and eventually you start believing you are incapable of focus, when in reality, you have just conditioned your brain to expect constant reward and instant relief. The algorithm is not the real problem, the phone is. Not the real problem, the world is not the real problem. The problem is that distraction has become your default state, and defaults shape identity. If your default is escape, you never build tolerance for struggle, and without tolerance, there is no growth. You do not hate working hard. You hate the withdrawal that happens when stimulation stops and silence begins. That restless feeling, that urge to check something. Anything is not boredom, it is dependency. And the longer you feed it, the weaker your ability to concentrate becomes, until one day, even 5 minutes of uninterrupted effort feels exhausting. And you call it lack of motivation. But motivation was never the issue. Capacity was, and capacity is built by resisting the urge to escape. So the question is not why you cannot focus. The question is how long you have been rewarding yourself for avoiding focus.